That's right. We got to bring it right back down. Because that intro, outro, you know what it brings me to? An all-time high. Oh, welcome everyone. It's been a while. The hell with the song. This is not one of my favorite songs. It's been a while since I've been on like a semi hiatus. We have been, Granny's has been, but thank you for joining us, everyone, for Double O Deep Dive. Pop Culture Pros, home and corner for everything James Bond 007. Whether you're getting us on in real life, whether you're live, watching us on the YouTube, or watching us on the Facebook, which I'll share out as soon as I'm done with this intro, or watching us wherever. Thank you for joining us. If you're joining us Memorex, which is for the kids, is on repeat. Catch us on if you're catching us on YouTube or on the podcast, where you can get your podcasts. I know we're on, but thank you anyway. All I'm saying is thanks for joining us. It's good to be back. We got a great movie today, but before we get into that movie, Ginny, it's been a while. How are you, Ginny? I missed you.
I'm good. It is busy. It's summer, and I'm happy to be back watching Bond movies. It's explosive.
It is explosive, isn't it? And so what's the name today? Izzy Longfellow.
Izzy Longfellow, because you know what I want? I didn't want to do the Octopussy. I'm not going to play a riff off that. I'm going to play a riff off of Moneypenny's assistant.
I like that.
What's her name? Oh man, let me just pull it up really quick. It's alarming. I mean, it's really quick somewhere. But I don't know. You've read the books. I don't know if anyone's actually...
I'm going to get into... Nothing that happens in this book is in the book. I'm going to talk about what the short story is about this. But
Moneypenny's assistant is Penelope Smallbone. So I wanted to do a little bit of that because what a name! That's a crazy name, right?
That is a cool name.
Penelope Smallbone. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Thank you, Jenny. I appreciate the thought into your name as always. But with us, not as always, but a special guest beaming over here all the way from the legendary A to Z, as well as Just Too Sweet, our good friend Eric. Eric, thanks for coming on, man. How are you today?
Thanks for having me. Oh, my God, I'm doing great. Like I said, I'm breathing the clean, clear upstate air, and I'm hanging out in my little... in an undisclosed location in upstate New York, always. But yeah, I'm doing well. I'm drinking a Squirt. You guys know Squirt? The grapefruit soda? No?
Oh.
No.
Yeah.
How does grapefruit soda taste? I'm always curious about odd soda flavors.
This is actually one of my favorite sodas. It's probably one of the oldest sodas going. I think it's from the 20s it started.
Oh my gosh.
Or early 30s. It's very old, but it's really good, and it's a thirst quencher soda. So like you can, you're not gonna be like drinking like 10 of them, like you're like I do, but it's really good though. It's citrus soda. It's really good. It doesn't have caffeine in it, which bums me out, but it's so good. You just got to keep drinking it. It's got sugar.
It's an advertisement for Squirt.
It really.
You guys should see my shameless RC Cola plugs. That's my favorite drink of all time.
RC Cola, I could see that.
I love RC Cola.
It is a royalty, It really is.
It really is.
But yeah, no, Double O Deep Dive now brought to you by Squirt. Drink the drink of spies. No, not martinis, kids. Squirt.
Citrus.
Citrus. But anyway, Eric, thanks for joining us. Very excited to get into.
Happy to be here.
This movie. We're about to jump into Octopussy, the penultimate Roger Moore movie. We've gone through the Moore run. We're almost done. We might be saying next week that we were left wanting more.
Yeah.
Go on.
That's great.
But before we get into Octopussy, we have a little tradition on the show for whenever we have a guest to just sort of talk about your history with Bond. Talk about your favorites, your not so favorites, things you like, things you don't like. So, Eric, you had a really cool story that you were sharing with us beforehand about this movie in particular. So, tell us that story and tell us like how you got into Bond and why this franchise has sort of gripped you for so long.
Well, I've kind of grew up on James Bond. Like I was telling you, my father was a prolific fan of Bond movies. He liked all of them from the beginning till about 2001 when he passed away. But he watched every single one of them. I even started getting them when he was, because my father got sick and was laid up, so I would go get him the DVDs and the VHSs, and he liked it right up till the day. Like I said, it was so cool. But like I got introduced to it really early. Like I was telling you, my dad's like an electrical genius, and he always had devices and electronics, and he'd rig them up like when you couldn't. Like he really couldn't record anything. He got it to record, and he'd make it record, and he would like dub VHS tapes when it was like impossible. So like we would rent it, and he would dub it, and then that was before you really even buy them. And when you bought them, they were like like $90. He's like, well, I'm not buying that for $90. So he just he would tape them, and but no, the first I have to say it's probably my first real memory. I mean, I'd seen Live and Let Die and The Man with the Golden Gun. They're two of my absolute favorites. But this one means a lot to me. Octopussy does, because it's the first Bond movie I ever saw in the theater. And my dad took me to our local theater to see it. It was so cool. And it was a fun experience seeing like James Bond on the big screen. It was just something different about it. And but yeah, my father introduced me to it. My sister's still a big fan. I'm still a big fan. My brother is a fan of it, but we grew up like in a Bond house. Like usually, like Saturday afternoons was like, or Saturday evenings, like we watched James Bond. It was just something we always did, and it was a lot of fun. And when I found out you were doing this, I was like, oh my god, when he does Roger Moore, I gotta get on somehow, because Roger Moore is the era that I grew to love. I mean, I love Sean Connery. I love Timothy Dalton. I love Pierce Brosnan, and I even like all the new guys and stuff. So it's just so cool for me to be on here, and I really appreciate it. But yeah, that was my journey into Bond, and yeah.
Awesome, man. Thank you for sharing that, and thanks for coming on. I remember that when Ed told me, because that was before you and I became Facebook friends. But when Ed told me that you were big into Roger Moore, I was like, oh, I gotta have him on. I was trying to have Tim on too, because Tim also is a big Roger Moore guy. But Tim doesn't have a lot of time to rewatch the content, so it gets hard for him. All right, let's dive in. All right, I've been ready to talk about Octopussy for a couple of weeks, and I don't know if I've told the story. I might have told this story, but this movie always holds a special place in my heart, because when I was in first or second grade, my best friend at the time, who I'm still friends with, we would my best friend at the time was a trouble starter, and I was not. I was very quiet and meek, and so we would walk into the attendance office, like the main office in grade school, and he just out of nowhere would just start going, "Octopussy! Did you see that movie? It's one of my favorite movies, Octopussy, with James Bond." And so, just us kids, thinking we're getting away with something. Oh, we're screaming Octopussy, and the 90-year-old school aides are blushing,
I've never seen this movie before. I remember, because there's marathons on TV that I used to watch all the time, just growing up. And I remember knowing it was like a Roger Moore mini marathon. They were showing a few of the movies, and I was like, oh, I've never seen Octopussy. I'll sit down and this is the gap that I should kind of check in on. And I was watching in and out. I just wasn't paying too much attention. And I just caught the scene with him and Magda, the one henchwoman, in bed together. And I was like, yes, okay, a normal Bond, henchwoman, love scene, okay. And then he just sees her tattoo and goes, well, what's that? And she goes, that's my little Octopussy. I was like, I'm out. This is a little too silly for me. And that's and I all all the cheesy Bonds, Moonraker, Jaws wasn't cheesy. I was that line, okay. 14-year-old me was all right, just gotta change the channel on that. that line. I don't know why. I was like, I watched all the like everything else. I was like, that one little line was like a little too silly.
I just see 14-year-old Ginny going, you know what? This is where I draw the line.
This is my line.
Yeah.
Look, I'm just too tired today. I guess.
I'm out. Yeah, I'm out of this one.
I'm out, guys. Sorry. But I'm so happy you got to watch this in full. Oh,
that's
man.
awesome. I didn't realize that this is your first time watching full.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Awesome.
Wow. But I didn't.
Right,
yeah.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I was gonna say Maud Adams I know she was in the movie before, but I forgot that. I knew she's only an Octopussy. And then
what was she in before? Was it
she's the Man with the Golden Gun?
Man with the Golden Gun.
That's right.
Yeah.
Man with the Golden Gun.
She was dead at the where they were at the fight.
Yeah.
Oh yes, that's right. That's right.
She had the bullet hole right in her chest. Yeah.
Yes, Christopher Lee's lady, his henchwoman.
Yeah, Christopher Lee. Oh, what a great role that was. Oh my God, he was perfect for that.
We gushed about that movie so hard. Like Ginny and I were both like, it's problematic and it's probably not one of the best ones, but damn, it's one of my favorites.
Oh, it's so great. Oh, it's so great.
Yeah, he's amazing in that. All right, but let's dive into Octopussy. The cold open. James is his nom de plume is, was it Lars Toro or Lance Toro? And he's got the quote, "Sounds like a load of bull." And then we get a nice judo chop from Bond, right? And then the caper begins.
Sure.
Pretty much, he's going to get a catapult, right? No, I'm sorry. My notes have gotten really stained here. I spilled something on it. But he pretty much he goes undercover. He gets caught, and then his partner flirts with a bunch of people to get him out, and then he gets out, and then he steals a jet, and he outruns a missile. Guys, Bond outruns a missile in this cold open.
That must be cool. I mean, we're getting there, right? We're beyond this. Our relationship with the Roger Moore movies. I should forgive a lot more in this movie. I forgive a lot in this movie.
I forgive. I actually like the fact that he outruns the missile at this point. Had this happened in Man with the Golden Gun, I'd have been like, no, I can't rubber stamp this. This is a bit ridiculous. But this far into Roger Moore, I'm like, yeah, missile.
What else you got?
And it's so like Cold War era. Like you can tell like Russia, like we hate Russia and anything but the way the movie looks, it's so Cold War,
so
80s. Yeah, it's like, it's like it's really you learn because it's different, but you don't know why. At least me, and there's still things I grasp at, but you watch things and it's like it's like when someone compares liking baseball to liking fine art. It's like a baseball guy can't understand why a guy likes fine art. And they say, well, it's a time and a place and an emotion. It's the artist, what he was feeling at the time, where he painted it and what was going through him. But the baseball guy argues, well, Joe DiMaggio's streak, when it ended during the war, gave the American people something to hold on to, a time, place, and emotion. So it's like that contrast of stuff you don't get as a kid, but now you understand. And I don't go deep like that a lot, so don't think I'm like this big scholar. Okay, but I just pick, but no, seriously, that's how I reflected on it years later. It was weird because I knew something was different, and I'm like, why is it? And as like you said, as you grow older and you understand things, it clicks with you. But it's so cool because it's so like that era. It's like it's like, oh my God, this is like
for sure
the height of the Cold War, and it's about to fall.
No, for sure. And like when this was coming out, because we actually dip out a little bit of Cold War stuff. Like we go into God, I don't think once we get into Goldfinger, I think we're our toe is out of really Cold War. We're more into not Smersh, Spectre. We're more into Spectre territory, right? And then James Bond sort of personal stuff. And then Roger Moore, we have more and we've talked about this, Ginny, about his foes are more like assassins or terrorists or criminals.
Yeah.
And this is very much like this, the villain in this, the plot, this is very much a return to the Cold War. I mean, to the point where, like, we're in East Berlin. Right? And where, like, 009, like, we find this out later, but 009 is murdered on assignment there as dressed as a clown in a circus.
Oh, with the Fabergé. Oh, my God.
The Fabergé egg.
Come on.
I knew nothing about this movie, everyone. I knew nothing about this movie going into it. He's a clown.
It's amazing. Ginny, what did you think of the cold open?
I dug it. I did. I was like, Meg, I had to kind of keep me on my toes. I like this. I have to. We'll talk about it maybe later when we compare them. This is kind of up there. I don't know. This got my attention. Maybe later in the movie, I disconnect, or like I just kind of lost my attention. I have also notes that either the action is really great in this movie or it's terrible, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, actually, I don't know, some of the stunt work is like super like, oh my gosh, that was a really cool, like, practical, like, stunt. And then I'm like, ooh, that didn't look good. That was really slow and like a little lazy. I like the opening. I dug it. Yeah, we got
Eric, any thoughts about the opening of Miss before we get into the credits of the song?
Oh, when the horse's ass comes up, man, it's like it's fun. It's on. You know, it's like this is perfect. This is perfect. You know what I mean? It turns into a play. Come on, there's nothing better than that. And it's a good open, like, wham. It's so great. Yeah. It's so great. And it fooled me. It fooled me. I really thought it was a fucking horse. I didn't know what was going on with the thing.
I have to give it, like, the creativity of the editors in the Roger Moore run. We've talked about this before. They do things like, I would never be sinful. Smash cut to Bond in a three-way. You know, I mean, it's never that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's always weird smash cuts and like weird editing to make you, like, to throw you off. So I give it to the editors for that.
Yeah, it's so good, man. It's so good.
And then we get into the credits, which I have to admit that this is one of my favorite, like, credit sequences for the Roger Moores so far. Like, it's literally just a laser light show. It's like 007 laser light show. Like, I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember, or if it was where you were, but when I was in my early 20s, late teens in the 90s, the planetarium, the Hayden Planetarium, used to have, like, laser light shows. So I'd go and see Laser Zeppelin, and they'd play Zeppelin, and I'd watch a laser show. And if I smoked pot then, it would be so cool, but I didn't. But it was still so cool. And that's what this reminds me of. This made me think that I was back in the Hayden Planetarium, but it was like an Octopussy Roger Moore 007 laser light show with half-naked women behind him. It was great.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
That's pretty cool. Planetariums are fun, man. Like, they're a highly underrated form of entertainment. Plus, you could learn something because, like, I'm a big planet stars guy. I love the sky. I love astronomy. I love it all. But planetariums and observatories are, like, really like so underrated. Like, I really wish kids would really get into that. Yeah. Naked girls too. That's fine. You know, whatever.
You can add them in there.
but planetariums and stuff are good. Yeah, put them together. No, you reminded me of like the Zeppelin thing with the laser light show, like Dark Side of the Rainbow. Like,
right.
I went to see that once, but I was like all high on pills and stuff, and I was like, I don't know, this is a good idea, but I said, okay, I'll run with it, you know, because I got a bad back and I had like all this Vicodin, and I'm like, well, I mean, 2 or 3 more won't hurt. So, you know, I go to this thing, and I'm with my brother and all these other guys, and I'm like high as a kite. I'm having a good time. And like, then all of a sudden, like, things start getting like creepy and woozy. And I'm like I'm new to painkiller drugs. Like, I didn't know they were this serious. So, like, you know, the all the stuff starts happening. And, like, you know, the shit starts blowing across the screen. And then all of a sudden it's coming at me and stuff. And I'm going like, wow, man, where am I? And I realized I was at a show, and I'm like, okay, because I didn't know what was going on. So I can imagine your feeling like if you were on weed and stuff, like that would have, if you were, that would have been really cool. That would have been so great. Yeah.
I was straight edge when I was a kid. I didn't touch anything.
I was too. I was straight edge right up till I wasn't. I can't remember when it was, but I wasn't.
Ginny, what'd you think about the opening? What'd you think about the credits?
You know, I did. It was super psychedelic. I did write that down. It is. You guys are not wrong. It is very trippy. But I go. You know what I noticed? I just can't recall any other James Bond opening having figure skating moves. And by figure skating, I mean ice pairs. You know, in figure skating where the guy lifts the girl and they spin. And I'm an amateur figure skating fan, so I saw that and I was like, okay. I see, you know, I can't see her feet. So I'm not sure if they have skates on, but I'm like, how are they doing this? It's clearly a guy lifting a girl and like spinning. He's spinning with holding her in the air.
Yeah.
I should say ballet probably, but it looked like figure skating to me.
Yeah. You know what? You're right. I agree.
I didn't know that you were an amateur figure skating.
Oh, I get aggressive about it. Yeah.
But
we followed the Olympics, man. They were pretty intense.
Tess and Scott were out of the ice pairs, and you can't top them. And the ice skating is a little rigged. It's totally rigged.
we thought so too. Yeah, we thought like I even said to Lauren, I said we should bet on this because you know you can tell who's going to win. Mm-hmm. But she's passionate about it, so I didn't want to like offend her too much. Because she'll get pretty aggressive because she likes figure skating. But
catch me drunk at a bar, I'll like have conspiracy theories about figure skating and I don't know too much.
Yeah,
no, but I know art. I know art is what I know.
Folk art.
And speaking of art, we have a little tradition, Eric. I don't know if you've seen the show before.
Oh, I have.
We get to the song. Because we found out, and I believe it was Ed that pointed this out, way before Roger Moore came around and he fled, that all of these songs are written specifically for the movies. Like, they're not requisitioned, right? And so we like to play a game of, what the hell does this song have to do with this movie? Where I just read off the lyrics, and once anyone has anything, you just stop me and explain it to me. Because sometimes it's clear-cut. But sometimes all of us but Ginny are stumped, and Ginny comes in with the win. Because I've seen her explain things where I'm like, I'm a good bullshit artist, but I bow to you. So here we go. All Time High by Rita Coolidge.
Rita Coolidge. Wow.
All I wanted was a sweet distraction for an hour or two. Had no intention to do the things we've done. Funny how it always goes with love. When you don't look, you find. But then you're two of a kind. We move as one. We're an all-time high. We'll change all that's gone before. Doing so much more than falling in love. On an all-time high, we'll take on the world and win. So hold on tight. Let the flight begin. Do I need to go on, or we got something?
I think there's a line. What's that line? Because they're so in love. Isn't there a line with Octopussy in Bond? Oh, you go.
With Octopussy in Bond. We've got 8 tentacles like an octopussy.
No, but what did she say? Is it like we're two of a kind? We're the same.
Yeah. When he got he's trying to kiss her and stuff, and he's like,
we're the same, and he's like, yes, and I'm like, I don't know where this came from, but I guess you guys are.
all right.
Wow.
They are, yeah, isn't that it? I think so. She didn't expect to fall in love with him, but she did.
All right.
Oh.
Isn't that always the way?
Yeah, I mean, come on. I fell in love with him. It's just, you gotta fall in love with James Bond. Every movie, it's like, But yeah,
I do think every time Roger Moore. I think he's not my favorite, but then I do watch and I go, when am I like, and sometimes he doesn't, sometimes he really bugs me, but then sometimes I'm like, that was very dashing and that was very charming. Even when he ran and got her, I was like, oh, that was nice. Okay. Dang it.
Yeah.
Roger Moore is way smoother and cooler than I remembered. And
I know. I think,
he is.
Yes. Even in this, and this, like, I've talked about, like, we get to a certain point where Roger Moore is kind of pushing the age limit that one should be playing this role. And I think he is kind of here, but he's still holding it together. Like, it's not, I think it's, and this is actually me taking back a lot of bad stuff I said about Roger Moore. I actually remembered him being really too old for the role for like 3 movies. And at this point,
yeah,
if I'm correct, it's really only A View to a Kill coming up, because I actually think even though his age is pushing it in this movie, he's still charming, he's still good, and he doesn't come off as creepy.
No. And so his Bond girl is like more mature and can handle herself. So he's matched with like really good women too, at least in this movie. But then I always thought, I don't know, maybe watching this in the last movie, I go, what if his Bond, because Daniel Craig's much older, but he's got this like, the arc of like, oh, I'm weathered and like, gosh, I should have retired years ago and like I got to get back in the game. But what if he had gotten that because he's smart, he's a smart Bond, he's put, he's like he's an actual, he's a spy, he's an actual spy.
Yeah, like Roger Moore does. I think he's the Bond who does the most spy shit,
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's maybe shouldn't be doing as much combat, or maybe we should minimize that if it was like a perfect world. But I was like, man, he really should have had that sort of arc where just like he just had a plan of retirement, and they're like, Bond, I don't know. No, he never has that, did he?
No, I don't think Bond's ever called out a retirement, unless you count Skyfall, where like they call him out of faking his own death.
Yeah.
Oh, pay attention, 007. You're not really dead. We got a mission for you. So, all right. So that brings us to like James Bond in this movie. Like, how do we think I kind of showed my hand. I think I remembered him being way too old for the part in this movie, and I'm wrong. I think he does a masterful job as Bond. Eric, what do you think? How do you think his Bond portrayal is in this specific movie?
This is like the to me the quintessential Roger Moore. Like this is his peak right here. Like this is the best. Like all like his experience has shown in the other movies, and now it's just like culminated into this. He's very debonair, but he's also practical, and he's not overly English. He's English enough to where he's from Great Britain, but he doesn't like throw it in your face. He kind of tries to, like you said, the spy stuff. He's like he's smart about it. He chameleons into whatever he's doing, and he's quick. And I think he was fantastic in this one. I thought he was old back then. Of course, I thought everybody was old, but now that you look back at it, it's like, today they put a higher standard on fitness and nutrition and all that stuff. Yeah. And I mean, it's the same with like wrestling, Jason, like the wrestlers of the 60s and 70s, like drank beer and smoked cigars and had beer bellies. And then you got like superstar Billy Graham, who bursts on the scene. He's like jacked and he's good looking and he's like in shape. And like all these guys are like, wait a minute,
he ruined wrestling.
He ruined wrestling, and he gave birth to the 80s. Well, like that's what the new Bond did. Like as things progressed, as Bond, they're like, well, he's an action guy, he's a spy, he should be somewhat fit. Like Daniel Craig, let's not get around it. He's a fit dude.
Yeah, for sure.
I met him down. Okay. Oh my God, I got enough. I can't believe it. I got so.
We got like James Bond royalty here. Jeez, I didn't know you had such a wealth of James Bond stories.
Well, here we go. So 3 years ago, 4. What year is this? 22. Definitely 5 years. About 5 years ago. 7 and 5. Yeah. So I work at a restaurant. I didn't work there then, but my buddy worked there. It's a fly fishing resort up here, because fly fishing is like we live on the Delaware River up here, the upper Delaware. That's the best fishing in the nation for trout. Like we're the number one trout stream. Upstate New York.
Oh, so you're in New York. You're just upstate. Okay.
I'm exactly when you hit the Tappan Zee, I am just about 2 hours and 50 minutes from the Tappan Zee.
Okay.
Yeah. So you go 287, 287, 17, you're up here. So yeah, I live up here by Binghamton, outside of Binghamton. Like I'm south of Syracuse, like east of Binghamton. So that's about where I am in New York. So, but yeah, so he works at a fly fishing resort. No, that's okay. No, that's legit. Like, I could have been in Alaska for all you knew. Like, so So he worked. It's called the River Run, the West Branch Angler, and like my buddy Frank has been the cook there, the chef actually, for a while. And he's like, hey, he messages me because we message back and forth. We mess with each other and stuff like that. And he's like, hey, you're never gonna believe this. I'm like, what? He goes, well, James Bond is here. I dropped everything. I'm like, which one?
Oh,
crazy.
I'm like, who? I'm like, who?
Crazy.
He's like, Daniel Craig. I said, I'll be right down. I had a motorcycle then. I still had my motorcycle. So I'm not okay. Before you get the picture in your head, I don't like Harley Davidsons. I don't like the biker image. I drive one of those Enduros that winds out fast and like a green and flashy. Like I'm not a Harley big muffler guy. I hate that. I'm a Japanese motorcycle guy. So let's get that out of the way. I don't like Harley Davidson people. Not that I don't like them. I don't want to be grouped in with those guys. Like Hell's Angels and.
Which is a funny segue because 00 Deep Dive's newest, paid advertisement is Harley Davidson.
Oh my gosh! Well, yeah. If they want me to test drive one, I'll do it. But it's just, but no. I had a Kawasaki. I had a 650, and it was an Enduro. That means it is on off-road bike. Like I can ride it on the road, and I can take it off-road. So I hopped on my bike. I rode down there quick. So I'm like, Frank, where is he? He's like, well, you really can't, go near him. I'm like, what? Yeah, you know who you're talking to? Give me a break. So I meander around, I ordered some food and I meandered around. There he is. He's like eating with like, an assistant and another guy and this douchebag and this guy and whoever. So I kind of walked around like the table and like everybody's kind of like looking at me like this. And I'm like, Daniel, what's up, man? And he's like, hey, how are you? I'm like, good. Enjoying the food? He's like, mm-hmm. And he kept eating. And I walked back into the kitchen and I got my food and I left. Everybody just kind of I mean, of course, the owner of the resort talked to him, like Matt. He talked to him a lot, and because he booked, he's a fly fisherman, and like he wanted to go to the best place in the world, so he went there. So I have like all this Bond stuff like coming out here. Jason, you're like squeezing out all this Bond stuff out of it. It's great.
I love it.
Oh,
it's loving
great.
it.
Yeah,
that's I didn't know that Daniel Craig was a fly fisherman. That's I had no idea.
Yeah. And I don't know if that constitutes meeting him. Like I kind of forced myself to like be. I kind of had to be like, yeah.
He saw you. You saw him. You exchanged words. Whether he wanted to exchange those words or not are irrelevant.
Jason, I knew I loved you, Jason, for whatever reason, and now I know why.
I could justify almost anything. But so, Ginny, what did you think of more in this Bond movie? Because like you have been with me from the start, so you've seen his progression like recently.
Yes. And because is he my least favorite? He's probably my least favorite Bond. No, that's not true. Even he's not my least favorite Bond. But I watch a lot of his movies, and there's like a lot of his movies I would rewatch again and again. I think, kind of in hindsight, and he is very attractive. And his next to Pierce Brosnan, his Bond when he's wet, because it's a lot of the time they're like, let's just get Bond soaking wet. He looks great. And again, I think he's so. I loved when he figures out the Russians are going to do the bomb, but they're going to make it look the Americans did it. Right. I like that realization. I love that explanation. I just think that's very like, he sounds so intelligent and like, yes, good. Like, yes, he's so confident and like, that's the hero. That's my hero. I didn't like him as a clown. And did you see that
ridiculous
he was going to be a clown at some point?
Oh yeah.
Heartbreaking to me because I was like, oh, how do we come back from this?
Yeah. I mean, at least they could have done is like done an Alice Cooper or something to make him look cool.
He's a sad clown.
Yeah,
they did not. His clown looked pretty ridiculous. The clown, almost as ridiculous as 009, who's murdered in like
009 was the worst.
Yeah.
Oh, he was a clown. Like he was like slapstick with the way he moved and stuff. It's
he was fully into the character, and then later like he was an agent. I was like, oh, he was.
And then when they killed him, they shot him with a gun that went bang, and he stabbed himself for realism.
Yeah.
No, I mean, no.
But like when he was floating down the creek, like how good of a scene was that? Like when he went through like
that was a cool scene.
That was really cool. That always stuck with me. Like
yeah.
So Ginny, you want to get? Is it time to get into the Bond girls? Because like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you choose when we get into it because this Bond girl is like probably the most important part of this movie
Yeah.
outside of James Bond himself.
Yeah. I think I almost think Magda is kind of a bigger Bond girl than Maud Adams because what I always thought was Maud Adams was the main villain. I'd watched enough of yeah.
That's my problem with this movie is she's not. I'm
She's
sorry,
not.
but go ahead. We'll talk about it
That's
later.
like because you know who Louis Jordan playing an Afghan prince, which is but I was like, oh my gosh, I know him. He's the villain, isn't he? Or is it the Russians?
I think Kamal Khan is the main.
Yeah.
He's the main villain. Yeah, like that other Russian general.
That dude. Yeah,
whatever.
that dude.
He was more or less a pawn. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that's like GoldenEye kind of has like similar like these just mini villains.
Yeah, but GoldenEye, and it's funny you bring GoldenEye up because GoldenEye goes for it. GoldenEye makes Xenia on the top fucking the evil villain who is just like your second villain. You know, and but also GoldenEye has like strong villains, and I think like the strongest villain in this movie is Maud Adams, who's not the villain. And then like Kamal Khan and all those other, and then the Russians, they're kind of like, are they in this movie? Like they're kind of forgettable.
Yeah, well, they come back and like, but she on like paper should be the coolest because she has like an island of women that are like these super like crime fighting like just circus trained performers.
Yeah, and assassins. It's like
assassins. Come on.
They're a cult of assassins and circus performers.
It's
the cult of the Octopussy. They call it the cult of the Octopussy.
Oh man, that was pretty great.
That's the greatest. That is the greatest thing ever, right there. I would jump out of a plane to get to that place. Like, and I don't care if they can kick my ass every day. I don't care. Like,
it is
kick the shit out of me.
I just go, what was her? I'm not confused, but so her father, the connection between her and her father with Bond is this a book thing? Because this seemed a little brushed over.
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay. Because you explain it.
I've been waiting for someone to bring this up. This is the most excited I've been to talk about the books that I've been reading for James Bond, but because this movie is not an adaptation of that short story. It is the sequel to that short story. And in that moment that you're talking about where they brush over it, where she's like, I started a cult of octopuses called Octopussy because my father, which you spoke to, who committed war crimes, liked octopuses. Like, that's the short story. Like, there's like, I think, I don't remember his name is Reginald, but that's where my name comes from today. Like, his name is Sergeant Smythe. And the whole story is James Bond goes to interview him because during World War II, he murdered someone and stole their Nazi gold. And the guy he murdered wasn't a Nazi. He was just someone like who had this and was going to give it to the authorities. And it happens to be someone who's a friend of Bond. So like 20 years later, he's tracked this guy down and gotten proof. And he's bringing the hammer down. And it's called Octopussy because it's all framed around his fascination with seeing if he can tame this wild octopus by feeding it. And then if he could feed it like a poison, like some kind of scorpion to see if it would avoid the poison or whatever. It's a whole metaphor for like the cat and mouse him and Bond are playing with. But they encapsulate that in 2 pieces of dialogue and establish that this is the goddamn sequel to that story, which made me go, I like this a bit more.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's cool.
That's kind of really cool. That was crazy because I was like, we like a meet and let's get this out of the way. Let's exposition it up, and we're in love. Like,
we might be in love. I don't know. We maybe not.
We're equals. We're straight. It was very straightforward because I was like, did I miss? No, and I mean, again, it's like all I remember was from Octopussy is Maud Adams being very Maud Adams, very statuesque and beautiful, and like the villain with an octopus, a real life octopus, and then Magda with her tattoo. And that was kind of all I knew from this movie. No mention of the circus.
No,
that's pretty insane. But I like her. She's not like a full proper villain because she's also being used and
she winds up being like a heroine at the end. I would say like
heroine.
She helps save the day.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, well,
but I kind of wanted to see her be the villain. Like maybe that's my bias. Like how awesome would it have been if the turn was, oh no, Mr. Bond, I set the train in motion. I put the nukes on the train.
Yeah, the like that like twist because she's so powerful. She's a lot. She has a cult and an island.
And she's super rich. Yeah,
super rich.
She hits all 3 of your James Bond villain bingo points.
She is literally the most elaborate. Yes.
She has an island and she has money.
And she has money.
Money. And she doesn't have a cat. She should have pet an octopus because that's the trifecta.
She should have walked around with an octopus going, "Hello, Octopussy.
Hello.
You must give attention to all 8 tentacles." Eric, what'd you think of Maud Adams in this? Were you on board for what they did with her, or did you want more like I did? What was your stance?
I had to get over because I'd seen The Man with the Golden Gun so many times.
Yeah.
I was like,
it's a better movie.
Yeah, and then it's like then I get used to her being her Octopussy. Now when I watch The Man with the Golden Gun, I'm like, she's Octopussy. I can't.
Same.
I'm waiting for something to happen, and it's not. And fun fact, she also makes a cameo in a 3rd Bond movie, by the way.
Really? Which one?
Mm-hmm. The final Roger Moore James Bond film.
She is in A View to a Kill?
I think in a ski scene. She's got a small cameo.
Who is Maud Adams like? They loved Maud Adams. She was
like a model, and like she's from like I think she's from Sweden or something. But she's like
figure her accent out.
She's like super like she's probably like in her like mid 50s by the time, and she looks like she's in her 30s. Like she's well, the Swedish people don't age until they're they're like 100 and dead. Mm-hmm. Like within that 6 month, they like just age and die. But like before that, they're just like they look like they're 35.
35 for 20 years.
So that's like what her. I mean, she was probably like near 50. She did not look it like physically or in her face or anything. Yeah, I mean, I could be off a few years, but I'm pretty sure she was fairly. She's getting up there.
I like that she's also just like an age appropriate love interest. Not that
pretty much,
but
pretty much.
I like that. Just like the that counts. That matters. And she's not like a. It reads because she's very regal and.
She is.
And she's totally powerful and believable.
Yeah, for sure.
She has a bad cocktail shake. I don't know what she was doing. She was shaking up a cocktail at one point, and she does like a little bit of a. And I go, it's like a full-on cocktail shaker. I was like, shake up the cocktail. What are you doing, Maud Adams? She's like,
how dare they put her in 3 of these movies when she doesn't have to shake a martini?
Doesn't have to shake a cocktail. How dare you, Bond girl?
Yeah, like I think the prop guy knows how to do that. You know what I mean? They can't make woman acting can't do it.
Bring in the prop guy, make him shake it up, and let her save her life. Come on.
Man. Well, the prop guys in the grips, and they don't get enough love anyway. So
it's true. No, it's very true. The behind the scenes people, they're not appreciated enough at all, and they make these movies happen.
And I'm pretending like I know, like I just remember those like 2 names from and I know like the grip helps the property master, and he helps the line produce. I don't know. I really don't know. I've never been in a movie.
So I guess we should get Q Branch out of the way. And this is actually apropos of Roger Moore's run. And I don't, even if it changes next time, I don't think it matters. I think we can say that Roger Moore has the least gadgets of any Bond. He is like an anti-gadget Bond.
In this movie, yeah.
Like in all of these movies, like the most gadgets we've seen him with are his cars and his watch. Like he doesn't get anything crazy egregious. Like he certainly doesn't go anywhere near Brosnan.
No.
And like even in this movie, he doesn't have any gadgets. Like the Q branches, it's a joke. It's a levitating rope.
He has a homing devices. I'm trying to think about what else he has.
No, but like Jason said, the watch is key for Roger Moore. Like he had the magnetic watch, and he has like the homing watch, and
there's more. I think the henchmen have better gadgets, sort of.
Yeah,
for sure. So
Scaramanga had way better ones.
Mm-hmm.
He had a gun, and it was golden. It took one shot in the video game to kill you.
What about the guy with the buzzsaw that he throws?
That yo-yo buzzsaw was my favorite. Oh my god! What are you talking about?
The circular saw of death. I mean, that's like one of the greatest like weapons ever.
I was shocked.
That's like pre-Mortal Kombat.
That was awesome.
I've never seen anything like it. I'll say that. I've never seen anything else like that buzzsaw yo-yo.
Yeah. No.
No,
that's original. That's
kudos to whoever thought about that.
No,
whoever wrote that awesome.
And it's funny because that links into Q branch, because aren't those the guys who would have killed Q if he was on duty, but he wasn't because the other guy was, and they killed the other guy instead?
VJ, right?
Q.
Yeah, they got VJ instead of.
Oh, I know. I'm so upset. I was so mad.
He was like he was the beloved sidekick that you really, really like fell in love with. Like he
was the Sergeant Pepper. What was that guy's name? The sergeant from the cop. Remember that from the Man with the Golden Gun?
Oh, J.W. Pepper. Yeah,
no!
That's right. He was in
Live and Let Die, and then
yes.
This
kid was the J.W. Pepper of this episode of this movie.
Oh yeah, and how great! Oh my God, that Clifton James. I mean, that was one of the greatest characters of all time.
That was an insane. Like I don't know why he was in those movies, but it was fun to see.
Two of those movies, they brought him in. They were like, who was a fan favorite? J.W.
Yeah,
Pepper.
You got to bring J.W. Pepper. But I love that we get Q in the field. I always love getting Q in the field. And like I don't think we ever get that in the Connery run. Like we've gotten it a couple times in the Moore run, and he's always in the field. He's fucking Dalton's like sidekick in Dalton's run.
Yes, they were buds, and they would have had more adventures had he kept going.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Had they not waited so long to put Brosnan in, he probably would have done that too. But by then he was old, he had a sandwich, But yeah, I love that we also like get to see Q in the field, because they're not really using the gadgets much, but they're using Douglas Llewellyn, which is amazing because that man is just should always be around. Like Eric, I think Ginny, I told you this, but Eric, do you know what eventually killed Douglas Llewellyn, who was like in his 80s when he died?
No.
Car accident.
No.
He was taken out by a random car accident. Had it not been, he'd still be in these goddamn movies.
He'd probably still be alive. He'd be like 114. Be like 007, excuse me. Like,
exactly. Now pay attention, 007.
Pay attention, 007. He is so appalled at like everything he does.
Everything.
No shit. A car accident?
Car accident.
What the fuck? Oh man. When you say hold on a minute. When you said Douglas Llewellyn, I was thinking Doug Llewellyn from the People's Court. You remember him? The interviewer? He's like, "Hello, I'm Doug Llewellyn."
Because it's Desmond Llewellyn. That's probably where I pulled that from.
Oh, that's so good. Oh, that's so good. Douglas Llewellyn. This is the case of Jason Fischetic getting the name wrong of a 007 character. Oh, dude, that's so great. That's so great. Oh my God.
So I guess we should talk about the plot, the villain.
Yeah.
So the villain is what's his name? Kamal Khan, right? And I he's fine. I like they don't do enough with him. I don't think he's enough of a presence, but I actually wish he was actually either not there or more of a maniacal presence. And his whole thing is to like help this is a convoluted James Bond plan for convoluted James Bond plans. And this is in retrospect of talking about like The Spy Who Loved Me and Space Orgies and Moonraker. But this is like we're going to trick Octopussy into putting gems into a circus. We're going to steal the gems, and we're going to help the Russians by putting nukes in the circus and sending the circus with the nukes and not the gems into America, and make it look like America nuked themselves on accident or England nuked themselves on accident. And then we're going to steal the gems. Profit? I mean, that is that like... And it starts with the Fabergé egg somehow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and how, dude? The prop people did great with those Fabergé eggs, because the one they chose anyway, the one with the emerald. I don't know. I'm very into Fabergé eggs because like I was in the antique business for a long time, and
the perfect episode to have you on.
It really is. It really is. Like this is the greatest one to have me on. It's, you know, and we were going to go to Sotheby's once, and we didn't get to go because we had another antique show to go to. But they had one on display there. One of the ones that are still around. I think they're all in private collections, and there's like one or two that belong to governments. But I almost got to see one of those, and I was so excited because we had a show. It was like in Norwalk, Connecticut, and it was only down in Manhattan, and it would have taken us like an hour to get there. And I was like, shit, we can't get away from the show, damn it. And anyway, it was a great story. But those Fabergé eggs I've always been fascinated with, and the story. I'm like one of those guys that like I watch all the stuff and I look stuff up and read. Like I want to like find where the missing ones are because I know they're out there, you know. And so I really want to find them. But yeah, it's well, you know, it's like the Amber Room, and don't get me started. All right, go on to the next thing because I'm just going to talk about shit like this all night.
Well, it is because I just look when we got the Russians involved, I was like a little. It was all just we were just using Octopussy because she is so powerful. Which is maybe just totally representative of like always just using those powerful women, right? No, I'm just kidding.
No, but I think you have something there because, and I'm sorry, but there is a scene that I made a note of that I was going to wait till the end, where I say, "Wow, this moment's the reason for toxic masculinity, isn't it?" Where he's just like, "Yes," and she's like, "It's like a Family Guy sketch," and she's like, "No, yes, no, yes, yes." You know?
Yes. Seriously, dude.
I don't think you're wrong, Ginny, to be honest.
No. Magda seems to have initiative. She's just like playing the field and also just loving Bond on like, but it's all her choice, and she can juggle, so that's pretty cool. I saw her.
She almost lured him in. Like
she did. Yeah.
It was like on her terms. So like
it was all on her terms. I was kind of. I think I hated Magda at first, and then I really liked her.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
She's a special place in my heart.
I totally would have fallen for her too. Like she would have lured me hook. I would have been like a smallmouth bass at a giant fishing tournament. Like she would have got me. You know, because I'm such an idiot. You know what I mean? I would have had no idea. I'm like, wow, this 10 is interested in me, you know.
My favorite thing she does is Bond goes to her and goes like, "Oh, would you like a nightcap?" And she's like, "No, I'm good," and like shuts the door. And then he turns to the like henchman and goes, "Do you want a nightcap?" I was like, "What a great, funny, good job, Bond. You're great."
It was, yeah. I don't suppose you want a nightcap.
That's a great moment.
Hey, they also shared a loving cup, remember? When the champagne was gone, and they made. That's the first time I ever heard that term, and I think the last. I don't think I've ever heard it again.
Class is a class act.
All right, and so then then the plan is right. Let's see if I can put it into my favorite equation. Faking a Fabergé egg plus stealing jewels times nuclear weapons for the Soviets equals profit.
Sure does.
Right.
Got that.
And so eventually James and Octopussy find out that, oh shit, Kamal Khan and it's not Gogol. We get Gogol again, right? Like General Gogol from the Russians. We get him again. He was from the Spy Who Loved Me.
Spy Who Loved Me, yeah.
And it's his underling who is like one of the villains, who's the Russian villain putting this in. And then James Bond has this thing like, all right, well, I got to get to I've got to get to the circus and infiltrate the circus and stop that bomb. And no one believes I'm a James Bond spy. And so I'm going to put this clown makeup on and go, I'm disarming a bomb, which I actually...
What was he wearing, though? He was wearing, like, a normal circus guy costume, like a knife thrower costume, and he was like, I have to be a clown now. I have to... Another costume change.
Yeah. Because didn't he kill the one twin already, and then the other one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looked great in that normal costume. He had to be a clown. He had to and then he had to go and tell and have to like a crazy man be like, "There's a bomb. Ignore the clown makeup."
Do you know?
That's the thing. He was like Homer Simpson. He was like Homer Simpson when he was like,
no, it really was.
The ice cream truck, like, oh no, it's a bomb, I'm a fat man, it's a bomb. It's like,
you know, fun fact. Ushers at Denny's dressed like that in the 80s. They did. Like what the twins were wearing. Yeah.
The red and black, like
the red and black, yeah. I remember it like yesterday. There was a Denny's. Yeah, there was a Denny's in Johnson City. It's part of Binghamton. And like, remember Service Merchandise? Probably not. But Service Merchandise was this like catalog outlet store, but they had like a store. And they had like Star Wars exclusive toys and stuff. And they had a toy section and whatever. You know what I mean? It was a huge store. It was fun. And like we'd go, like my mother was like this, like, I don't know. I never understood the way my mother shopped, but like as I look back on it now, but like I always wanted to go because I knew that we'd go somewhere cool to eat. And we went to Denny's once, and this guy comes out and he's wearing this like burgundy maroon long sleeve collared shirt with a black vest. And I went, Dad, is that one of the guys from James Bond movie? He goes, oh, God damn it, no. You know, he's like freaking out on me. He goes, you got to stop watching that goddamn movie, you know. You know how old men, like the old men, like they all said, God damn it. You know, they're like, God damn, you know. It's well, we're going to get in a goddamn car. You know, that's all he said. It was so fun. But like, they seriously, they wore shit like that. Like, I remember that, you know. So. I'm not trying to turn this into a comedy show. I'm just trying to.
This was already a comedy show.
Okay, good. That's good because and if it already was, I'm probably ruining it on you. So
But so Bond like gets so he disarms the bomb, and you'd think that was the end, but it's not. Like we kill the general, right? We kill the Russian general.
He's dead.
And then Bond now has to go after Kamal Khan, who is being confronted by Octopussy herself. Mm-hmm. And he tries to pull like a bullshit thing, like, "Oh, you're alive! My plan worked exactly like expected. Hey, we can still profit together." And it's like, you're dead.
You're not that good.
She's the pussy cultist. Come on.
Yeah. No, you're not killing her. Like, no way. No way.
And then Q flies in the hot air balloon, and one of the Octopussy cultists are like,
favorite.
"Oh, Mr. Q will help you," which I loved.
Oh, that was so good. That was so good.
Where did they get the hot air balloon from?
Then wasn't it? Where did that come from?
I don't remember.
Is it from the government? Is it from MI6? And they just have their huge Union Jack, so everyone knows.
Yes, it has to be.
Painted.
It has to be.
Like target
America
your missiles here.
We would do that. We would do something.
America would have a big balloon with the American flag and a big hairy sack of balls saying "Put it in your mouth."
Yes.
That's 100%. The hubris of America.
It really is. And back then, if they were doing it, if they were doing it back then,
exactly.
They'd be like, "Look at that goddamn balloon up there! God damn it! And then look, goddamn bless America!" You know, that's what they'd be saying. You know, that's how these old men sounded back then. It's like,
because they've been through it.
Oh, they have. Yeah. Well, yeah, they were everybody. Well, face it, everybody that's over 90 has probably been in a war. You know what I mean?
My
So,
gosh.
Well, yes, that's true.
Against their well,
against their will or willingly, yeah. Like all my uncles and my dad were. Like they were all in various wars, and they all say like, we didn't want to be there at all. Like we didn't. One uncle did, but not all.
All through the ringer, though, but put through the ringer straight on.
Yeah.
It's like so that, and then they beat the bad guy. Bond has sex with Maud Adams. That's pretty much the movie. So before we go back through our notes and talk about maybe like moments that we wanted to highlight that we missed, did I miss anything in the end? Because Ginny, you watched it twice recently, and Eric, you have it committed to memory, and I watched it 3 weeks ago when I thought I was doing this movie. So I
have silly notes. I have a lot.
Please.
Things that I thought were kind of fun.
Yeah.
Because I really liked there was that whole tennis racket fight scene where they're on the car and that's
really good
in India, and it's that's pretty amazing. There's so many really awesome fight scenes. It got crazy when they get Bond, they capture Bond post he's playing cards, gambling, and they get him in a body bag, right? Or like a sack, the Kamal's hench and he gets out of it, and it's very strange because I was like, that's Bond in the body sack, right? He's like, sounds like groaning like a zombie, comes up, rips his way out of the body bag, and had like a scary laugh and was like, mwah! And I was like, what is going on?
Okay.
Explain.
Didn't he? Okay, wait. Didn't he sneak around, and the only way he could get behind the part of the palace that he needed to get to was he saw, or maybe he needed to leave.
Yeah.
He that's what it was. He needed to escape. So he went in with the room where evidently every palace has this room where bodies hang, and you just throw them in a thing and they throw them off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, that's the dead body room. I'm sorry. The bathroom's over there, so it's like, come on. But that's what
castle is Bluebeard's castle.
Yeah. So you remember when they threw him, he's like, oh, and they're like looking around. They're looking around. And then he did the whole
like scaring them.
I mean, traditionally Punjabi people are very superstitious. I know a lot of them, and they are very, very superstitious. So if like some shit like that happened, they're freaking the fuck out
and they just run away.
So and it's for real. So like that's at least a true to.
Oh my gosh.
That's really true. Like, that's playing on a superstition of that sect of people. Because they're very spiritual, very they have a wide array of beliefs and like gods and stuff. It's actually really interesting. Like Ganesh, the elephant god and all that stuff. It's really, really cool. But they're very superstitious, and they take things very, very to heart. So.
No, and then explain when he tells a tiger to sit. Anyone remember that when that happened? Because that's like my daughter turned into a squirrel, and she thinks to tame it to go. No. Sit.
I was waiting for the Bond hunt on the elephants and stuff. I was waiting for that. That was a great little filler.
It's a crazy.
It was a great filler. Yeah, it was a great filler.
Doesn't he also tell a snake to hiss off?
Does he?
Yeah, he's laying there. He's like, hiss off.
Yeah, exactly.
He's interacting with all the animals.
He's the king of the corny puns, man.
Yeah,
but it was so good.
Oh yeah, his puns are on point.
But that's why I go when you watch his movies, and maybe in high, because sometimes even golden, Pierce Brosnan, some Pierce Brosnan movies, and I can't watch Living Daylights, like a Timothy Dalton movie. I just I really don't want to enjoyably watch it. But a Roger Moore movie, it's gonna be fun. He's gonna have crazy, fun puns and lines.
Yeah, but believe it or not, the Timothy Dalton movies aren't that bad.
I love that. No, I love License to Kill.
Oh, there's
Ginny, tell Eric who your favorite Bond is.
Who's your favorite Bond?
Probably Timothy Dalton.
Really?
I love him.
That's so cool.
I know, and I discovered him later in life, and I was like, oh no, this is great. He's like, just aggressive and just like, and I love him later. He's like, no one loves Timothy Dalton like as an actor. I think he's like wonderful.
I think he is too. I think Jason, you got comments over here. Like, what's going on?
Do I?
Oh
yeah. Wow. I wasn't paying attention.
Having such a good time.
Okay.
I was.
Greetings. And that other guy looks familiar. That's right, Tim.
Yeah.
I've infiltrated.
He's taking over slowly. So this will be the A to Z of James Bond next week. So don't worry about that. And you've already anticipated it. You've known what was happening this whole time.
Yeah, I'm the spy. I always thought. Tell me something, guys.
Bond is Gary U.S. Bond.
Gary U.S. Bond.
Bond.
Tell me
Gary
something.
U.S. Bond.
Okay, yes. I've always had this fantasy, and I want to see, since two fellow Bond aficionados like me, wouldn't it be cool just to have a storyline where there was an American James Bond?
Yes.
Like Felix Leiter, like not Bond, but like an American equivalent.
But it's James Bond, but he's American.
But what are those attributes? Like, what is the Americanized, or is he super cool and British?
Listen, Ginny. That's as far as I got when I was 9 years old, and I didn't get any further. But I just came into my mind, like maybe I'm trying to say like an American actor playing him.
Oh,
because I have another sick fantasy. I want a fucking American to play Doctor Who. I really, really do. I really, really do. I don't mean to get all nerd geek on you, but like,
I'd be okay with both of those if the American could pull off an accent, a convincing British accent, as well as a Brit can pull off an American accent.
You just need like Jeff Goldblum to be like the American Doctor Who, because that's the energy and that's the strange cadence. But he's too big of a star. You just need someone like that, and then that's your Doctor. That's our American. God bless America. Our Doctor Who.
Here's my brain on the ceiling. Yep. Mind blown.
Dalek, give me a second. Let me explain to you something here. Chaos theory.
That's good.
Dalek, listen. Right here, it's chaos theory. You don't stop yourselves, and kablam. I mean, come on! I can see it now.
That's perfect. That's so perfect.
He wear glasses. Yeah.
Yeah.
I of course picture him in the Ian Malcolm suit. I picture Jeff Goldblum one of two ways. It is either young in the Ian Malcolm suit or older in his role in Thor Ragnarok.
No love for Independence Day. Independence Day Jeff Goldblum is the best Jeff Goldblum.
I agree with that, but there is one actor that eclipses everyone in Independence Day for me, and that is that man's movie, and that is Judd Hirsch. That is Judd Hirsch's movie.
Totally agree.
This is my boy. He's independencing us. I mean, he's wonderful.
Yeah. Oh, it is wonderful. He's absolutely wonderful.
Did you guys know, since we're telling stories about seeing movies in the theater, did you guys know that not only did I see Independence Day in the theater when I was 16 on opening night at the Ziegfeld, I got on TV because of it.
You did?
I did. I was on the news. The news was outside. It was like, I think it was like July 3rd or 2nd, because it was like, the opening night, but pre-opening night. And I had friends, I was 16 or 17, but I had friends who were like in their 20s, and we were hanging out. And so I was out with them, and we're online. And, I was the kind of kid who had long blonde hair and a bowler hat, just so you know. Why, when the news said, does anyone want to be interviewed? And my friends went, no. I went, I do.
They're like, got it, this guy.
And they asked me a couple of questions and used it for the next morning as well as the afternoon. So I was on the news twice.
Oh my god!
Because of Independence Day. Yeah.
Wow. When you say Ziegfeld Theater, I think of that Conan remote where Triumph the Insult Comic Dog went to the Star Wars.
Yeah.
Well, yes. I mean, there's a ton of them that are good, but that one is particularly like that gets my 14-year-old son laughing hard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that's difficult to do.
So all right, so let's see. There is one other thing I wanted to bring up before we moved on. And Eric, if there's anything you want to bring up, Ginny, if there's anything you want to bring up, of course, let me know. We did the snake thing. All right, guys, the Tarzan scream.
Right.
The Tarzan scream.
Oh,
yeah.
Like this is
the worst part of the movie, and I thought this was overall. I'm going to say this is a pretty fun movie. This is the worst part where James Bond is literally going from vine to vine, going. Oh! It's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, come on.
That's very.
I agree. That was. I mean, the puns. I can all day, but
I'm here for the puns. Yeah.
The circus is a little silly, but then the plot's pretty serious. It's not as like for me that Octopussy sounds silly.
And I think that's my biggest problem with the movie. It's like, all right, so we've got Octopussy, yeah, and it's Maud Adams. She has a cult of pussyists. Okay, yeah, this is really fun and weird. And there's a circus. Okay, from East Berlin. Okay, this could still be fun. And then they're going to steal a bunch of diamonds from her. Okay. Oh, yeah, and then genocide with nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
Like,
there you go.
There's a discrepancy there.
I mean, you even had like when the evil Russian military guys were like, they had like the 80s like computer animation going. Like, yes. It was like Space Invaders, with tanks and stuff. It was so cool. It was so cool. Right after the video game crash, too.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Right.
Yeah.
That was E.T., right? This would be the same year as the video game crash?
Same year as the video game crash, same year as E.T. Well, a year after E.T.
Yeah, because E.T. causes the video game crash. It
really does. And then they dump it all in that place in New Mexico, and they find the E.T. dump.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So, Eric, you've seen that documentary.
It's so good.
Ginny, have you seen the documentary about how, because there's a legend where like there are just thousands of ET Atari cartridges just buried in the desert, and the fact is it's not a lie. It's what happened was they made ET the game, which was terrible. I owned it as a kid. I owned it on Atari.
You had it?
I did. I had it.
Wow.
It was terrible. I could never figure out how to play it, and as a kid I just went, no, you're a dumb kid. That's why you can't figure out how to play it. And then I revisit lots of games as an adult, and I go, well, I'm not a dumb adult, and I still can't figure out how to play it. But that game, like, caused a crash in video games, and they had such a surplus of it, they buried it in the desert.
No.
Oh, yeah, no, they went all in on this. Like, Atari went all in. And like, or not, was it Activate? No. Was it Atari themselves?
I think it was Atari themselves. I think it was an Atari-made game. Yeah.
Yeah, and like they went all in. I'm talking publicity, marketing, production. Like it just went like ballistic, and then it sucked so bad. And there's a couple other games that sucked bad too, but
it was also like because part of the documentary like talked to the person who made it, and they were like, "Yeah, I was given an unreasonable timeline, and I told them I couldn't finish it." And they went, "I don't care.
What do you have right now? Give it to us." And they took it basically, like he was like you said, like halfway done, and tweaked it.
And I'm pretty sure it killed his career too because that gets blamed on him.
Yeah, he got kind of shunned for a while. By some people, but he landed on his feet. He did okay after a while.
Don't worry about him; he's fine.
Yeah, he's okay.
He's doing this fine.
He still eats nachos and smokes weed.
That's all you need in life. All right, I got one more scene that we didn't kid on, and that I need to talk about, and then I'm going to open it up to whatever you guys want to talk about, and then if nothing, will end. But the auction scene is super cool. I really like the auction scene.
Oh, well, he's being a cool spy.
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah,
that goes back to what you said before, Ginny. This is him being a spy. Like he's not like putting a gun in someone's face. He's actually bidding here and forth and back and forth. And I thought that was a super cool scene.
And he's not. And again, like that Pierce thing, he's also like never near as like, I don't know, desperately romantic as Pierce. But that's probably a good thing because that doesn't get in the way of his missions. Yeah. In hindsight, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pierce was very attached. He got very attached to women.
Yeah, he did.
I'm like, really doesn't happen with. I mean, yeah, Roger Moore is misogynistic, but he just like is very straight on with his mission, and then occasionally he's like, "Oh, lady, let's flirt and let's let me like approach you."
I think my takeaway from the Roger Moore run so far, and again, it's not going to change with the next movie we're watching, is I think I got down on him because he's written as a much harsher James Bond. Like he is. We've talked about this. He's a much harsher James Bond. He's like no nonsense. Like Timothy Dalton's no nonsense. There's the mission. He's no nonsense. We can fuck around a bit, but still no nonsense.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be nice to you.
Yeah.
And I think that always rubbed me the wrong way, but I can't blame Roger Moore for that because that's how he's written.
Yeah,
he's
that's
doing
his
what he
Bond.
was tasked to do.
It's consistent.
It is
Is it
very
not
consistent.
Yes.
It is.
It is.
It is. Definitely is. It definitely is.
So, anything else in this movie that we didn't talk about that you guys want to talk about before we decide if this was a failed or successful mission?
Did we cover? There's another scene I really liked. Yeah. Okay. When they're racing through the marketplace, and remember that moment where that guy had that like giant like throwing star thing, and it's going down, and it pierces him, and you're like, oh, like, and then but it hit the money. Remember? Then he's like threw the money up in the air, and then he went through the false wall, and oh, it's so good, so good.
I like that scene. That's a cool scene.
Fun fact about that scene: remember Q's assistant in there?
Yeah.
The guy with the blonde hair. What was his name? He had a name. He said hi to him. Whatever. Smithers.
Excellent.
I think it wasn't it Smithers. I think it was Smithers. That's Boba Fett from the original. He's the actor that played Boba Fett in Return of the Jedi.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Jeremy Bullock. Wow.
Yep.
Crossover.
Yep.
That's the
That's
first,
so
probably
cool.
first Star Wars crossover.
This is a crossover with Tim. Are you still watching? We need to talk James Bond on your show.
Yeah. Come on, Tim. Oh, he's probably the Rangers are on. Forget it. No. These guys are going to be disappointed tonight.
Oh no.
Yeah, Carolina's going to win.
Oh, the sports.
Sports.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I don't know anything about the sports. I kind of leaned into it. I always tell Ed, like, I'll never get my guy card for that reason,
Yeah, I like hockey. Like, I'm not like I don't like drool about baseball like Steve and those guys do. I mean, it's like they can't go 2-3 sentences without mentioning. They're like, "Oh, how are you today, Steve? I'm pretty good. Yeah, the Mets are on today. Blah blah blah." You know what I mean? You can't even go. And it's like, Jesus Christ. I mean, you can't even say a joke or anything. It's like fucking baseball and then fucking football, and like football's okay. It's a little macho for me. Like, I like hockey because it's a little more athletic, a little like real tough, not like, once a week tough, like they play every night. So
That's actually a great point.
Yeah. So it's
so
and anybody can run, but not everybody can skate. Like, I'm not making an argument about it, but
It's really figure skating is really tough and dangerous because you're flinging
really
blades
is.
around in people's faces. I'll argue.
It really is. I mean, what's her name? Christy Yamaguchi.
Yeah.
Nancy Kerrigan and that whole thing with the knee.
yeah.
Like I remember that. Like I was a senior. I don't know what I was.
Blood
but
sport. It's a real blood sport.
It
It is a real blood sport.
Look,
it really is.
Some people cut the ice with their skates. Some people cut each other's throats. So I've heard.
Well, it's just a rumor.
It's just a rumor that I might have just started now. But Ginny, is there anything that we missed about this movie that you wanted to touch before we give it its overall rating?
I just know I thought the singer was Carly Simon at first, and it's clearly not Carly Simon, but it sounds like Carly Simon.
Yeah, we kind of skipped the song.
Yeah, I think at one point that Russia was talking about their evil plans, and I literally said, "I assume this is all accurate, just in terms of Russian evil plans."
Yeah,
No offense to any Russian.
Well, no, but it was so Cold War because they even called it Czechoslovakia. Like,
yes, that's true.
Now it's the Czech Republic and the Slovaks, and Slovakia. So it's like what it's what
in '83 it was Czechoslovakia, right?
Czechoslovakia. There was also Yugoslavia, and there was also probably Perogiavia. Like, I don't know. There's probably all sorts of different places over there that we don't know about. Like fucking Russia ruins fucking everything. Like, it's really do. They lost the Olympics and it was it. Like, they were all pissed off. They got mad.
And again, really weird, but new sponsor for the show, Russia. Russia. You guys love Russia.
Putin, we got room over here,
Fake Putin over there, come on.
Look, if the real Vladimir Putin wants to come on and talk about James Bond, who am I to say no?
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
You don't even have to smile because we know he can't.
No, that's fine.
Don't attempt it with us.
He doesn't have to speak English. That's fine. Like, he doesn't have to do anything. He just has to show up so I can say, "Oh, guys, I had Vladimir Putin on my show." Ah!
Yeah. Like, zing, there it is.
Right. But I'm sorry, Ginny. Anything? Did I interrupt you?
No, you didn't.
Okay. I forget sometimes. All right. So I guess, Eric, we'll start with you because you are the guest, and then Ginny, and then myself. Was this a successful mission for Roger Moore's James Bond?
Absolutely. Because he foiled the big deal, the nuke. He foiled and neutralized Kamal Khan, and and vicariously kind of brought a semi-corrupt businesswoman to more of a level. You know what I mean? Like, she can't be totally legit, but she was like 3 shady. She's now like 7 shady. So it's like, he kind of did that, and I don't know. He had an alligator submarine, and it's but it's gotta be a success mission just for all that. But I would say overall, yes, I would call this a successful mission.
All right, excellent. Ginny, successful or not? What are your thoughts?
I just have to think if I liked it more than For Your Eyes Only. Like, because I don't know if I said I don't know if I liked For Your Eyes Only, like if it was a total success in my eyes. Because this, in hindsight, I think the plan was pretty dastardly. Like, that plan was, again, super serious. There was just like elements of a circus, and then the action was really pretty great. I'm like mixed. What's our middle ground? What's our if we don't fully think? Because if this is back on TV again, I'm definitely gonna watch it. But
you could just say that it's a mixed bag. Like, you could just say that you're undecided.
Because
jury's out,
I almost like, I just think it's I definitely would watch it over For Your Eyes Only. Yeah, that's kind of, again, his run is so uneven. I think like there's levels of we should either go from like straight lace to crazy, but his is all like, fair movie craziness, and then Spy Who Loved Me, and then Moonraker, and then like For Your Eyes Only, and then I'm just like, so weird tonally. I give us a middle ground, but I would definitely, this is like, I'm gonna watch this in the run.
All right, so it's rewatchable. It's enough of a success to be rewatchable.
Yeah,
fair enough.
All right,
fair enough.
Excellent. It's funny because I have such a weird relationship with Roger Moore. He was not the one I got into. I got into Connery, and then I skipped a lot of his movies, and we got into Roger Moore. They got into Dalton and got into Brosnan, and then I went back to them. I would actually say this is a success for me. I do like this. I don't think it's a perfect movie. I don't remember if I liked this more than For Your Eyes Only, just because, as I've said on the show, For Your Eyes Only is literally an amnesia movie for me. That my memory begins to degrade seconds after I stop watching it. I remembered liking that, but I enjoyed this. There's a lot to enjoy here. I think it could have been better. I'm with you, Ginny. It's like a middle ground like movie for me. Like, I don't think it's great. Like, it's no Spy Who Loved Me. And The Spy Who Loved Me, in my book, is the best Roger Moore and maybe top 3 of all time. That's how I
very good, very, very valid argument there. Very much.
This movie is like, it's got some good stuff. Some of it doesn't make sense. It is memorable. So maybe I'll have to put it over For Your Eyes Only, just because I'll never forget James Bond in the clown outfit. I'll never forget the Octopussy cult. Like, I remember this movie in a way I don't remember. So I would say I would put this over For Your Eyes Only, which I said was a marginal success. So I will say this is more of a marginal success than For Your Eyes Only, but that brings nothing down about it because I have high standards when it comes to. I'm not a big Roger Moore guy, is what it is.
Yeah. That's totally fair.
Yeah.
And I always thought you could definitely go from, like, if you wanted to like realign Roger Moore's movies as Bond, you could go The Man with the Golden Gun, Octopussy, View to a Kill that way. Or you could, you know what I mean? Like, you could really put them in that order. Or of course, View to a Kill is next, I think.
Yes,
anyway. But like, you could go right from The Man with the Golden Live and Let Die. Live and Let Die, not Man with the Golden Gun. Live and Let Die, Octopussy, then View to a Kill. You could definitely do that because they're all kind of have that. There's a lot going on. You have, you go from New Orleans, New York, and the San Monique, the island out there where they do the voodoo, which is probably not real, but I want to think it is.
It might be. I mean, Ian Fleming loved Jamaica more than anything else in the world.
Crazy.
Spent so much time there. So if it's not a real place, it's based on a real place in Jamaica. I would guarantee.
Got to be. And Baron Samedi is well. There we go again, borrowing different cultures, religious aspects into Bond. So he was probably some form of a theist. You know what I mean? Like, he probably studied something like that. Look. I'm not smart, so don't sit there and look like, oh my God, look at him, So
Professor Z over here has been lecturing us all night, and capping it off with going, "I'm not smart though. Don't listen to me. I've just said some really intelligent things, but don't listen to me."
But no, it's cool how they come about. Like I said, Baron Samedi, and then in Octopussy, there you see a lot of the Punjabi a part of Hindu religion, and it's really cool. It's really cool. And I never read the books. I would love to. And I would love to find out more about the basis on why he wrote and included the things that he did, So
a lot of it for him, because I've been listening to these books as we do the movies. A lot of it for him was he was in the service and then he retired, and he wanted to write a sexier, fictionalized version of himself. So he took nuggets of his real life in the service and expanded it. So the first time James Bond kills someone, which we do see in Casino Royale eventually, that is in the original Casino Royale movie with the other 2 people he had to kill, because you have to kill, I think, 2 or 3 people in the line of service to get your 00 status in the book. But all of that he didn't do any of that. But it's all kind of based on experiences of him, being in a place and meeting someone and thinking, wow, if my fantasy was real, this set would go down. So he's a very interesting guy to read up on and figure out why he wrote what he wrote. And he loved Jamaica, absolutely, his favorite place in the world.
No kidding. I've never been to the islands out that way. I've yet to venture into the Bermuda Triangle, because I don't want Cthulhu to come out and grab my boat and shake me around. No, I'm not. That's just, and you know,
that. I don't want to risk that.
No, and if people don't think there's giant sea monsters underneath the waves, you're wrong, because there are. I know there are, and I am not going on a cruise ship. That's not happening.
So they want you to let your guard down. That's when they get you.
It is what's going to happen. I'm going to be like, oh, look at that Disney. Oh, Mickey Mouse. That can't be bad. They're princesses. What can happen? This big tentacle comes over the thing and rips your grandmother from her pinochle game, and you're done. That's what's going to happen.
See, I go on cruises for that reason because I am a Buffy the Vampire Slayer villain, like secretly, and I'm always like sitting down there going, "I will call Cthulhu, and I will make him kill someone's grandmother while playing a pinochle game."
My plan is working.
I love it. Oh, I love it.
But all right, so I think Octopussy. I think it's a success. I think we could say it's at least a marginal success, right?
Yeah.
I think this was a fun
surprisingly.
All right. So Ginny, as always, thanks for joining me through this. Eric, thanks for guest spotting. I really appreciate it.
I really appreciate being here.
Yeah, it was and open invitation. Whenever you want to come back, just let me know. And thank you, everyone who listened, who has been with us on this Octopussy journey. If you're interested, you can join us next week. We're going to come back next Monday. Hopefully, there's no more snafus. And we're going to be doing a view to a kill, which I'm going to have to say I might do the whole podcast in Chris Walken because he's one of my favorite people in the world.
Well, I think you should, because if you don't, it won't be fun.
Eric, you surprise me. You can never have too much power. That is actually the first line I practiced my Chris Walken impression on as a 12-year-old boy after I saw Batman Returns because he's back. And so my best friend in the world, Pete, when we were younger, we saw that movie together, and him and I had a whole thing about who would be able to do a better Chris Walken impression, and he gave up and I didn't. So I gotta say, fuck you. I got the better impression.
You got the better impression. You did. You're doing pretty good. You did pretty good.
Thank you. I've been working on it for decades. But yeah, so we got The View to a Kill, which is Roger Moore's last foray into the James Bond franchise, starring Grace Jones, which I'm very excited to talk about, as well as obviously Christopher Walken. So that's going to be next week. But thank you so much for joining us for this week's episode of Double O Deep Dive. Please make sure that if you enjoyed this and you are for some reason not subscribed to the Double O Deep Dive page, please do so. If you enjoyed listening to me talk and pontificate and interrupt people, then please get on Granny's Peach Tea for your latest serving of sweet geeky goodness, which this is the first time I'm doing a double header, guys. I did Granny's Peach Tea this afternoon.
Oh,
and
wow.
now I'm here.
Oh, yeah. It's morning or the afternoon.
Man.
You're like noon or 3. Yeah. We did it 3.
You're pulling a Tim Tabala here,
I am.
Yeah,
I am going crazy. But Ed did it too. Ed finished with us and did 161, and I was like, I know it's a stupid question, but are you coming on the show tonight? He's like, no, I'm not doing 3 shows in a row. What the fuck's wrong with you?
You gotta eat.
The man's got to eat. He's got to live. He's got a wife. He's got dogs.
Oh, that's right. Empire 1 second. Him and Agatha do that. That's right. I forgot about that.
Agatha.
I forgot all about it.
But so join us for Granny's Peach Tea next week. We just did Thor today. We'll be doing Thor: The Dark World next week, which we love.
Great movie.
See, Thor: The Dark World is my least favorite MCU movie right now.
Oh, I loved it. I love
really?
Thor: The Dark. I like the Dark Elves, man. Listen,
Okay.
I'm a comic book guy and a reader, and I go way back with all this stuff. I even go with Norse mythology. I think it's really entertaining. I've read all the books and stuff. So
you should come on if you're a big fan of that movie because like Ed and I are not big fans of the first 2 Thor movies, and I think like we did you really?
I love the first one. Yeah, I did.
Oh, I wish I would have known that.
Yeah,
I would have had you on today, Jen.
I'm sorry.
God. Oh, no. Yes, you should be sorry for not telling me your likes and dislikes. But anyway, so that's that. But let's say you don't like geeky goodness. Let's say you like the sports. By the way, my cue cards. I have cue cards that got all wet and destroyed. So I'm just winging it. I got to remember all the shows we have here. But if you like the sports, if you like the Yankees, you got the Empire 161 show, which is Ed and Lisa bringing you all the Yankee baseball. I think they hit something today, and they might have thrown something today, and they were on grass today. I don't know. I'm not a sports guy, but if you want to know more about it, please join Ed in 161. But let's say you hate the Yankees, but you love the Mets, or you love the sports, then join Boss Man Steve Faraci and put it in the books, where he goes over every meticulous thing, every meticulous ball hit and grass stain accumulated by the Mets. Maybe I'm overpromising. I don't know. I'm not a sports guy, but here we are. I'm selling it. If you're liking it, just go with it. Listen to it.
No, you're not. You're not overpromising. It promises to be a bad show, and it is. So don't worry about it.
Wow. But let's say you're not into the sports, but you're into Disney. We've got Skyline Reviews, which is a great show that goes over all sorts of things in the Disney park. One of my favorite episodes was when they taught me where to drink in Epcot Center and in the parks. It's very important. Very important.
I would have never known. I would have been looking like the asshole going, Jesus Christ, is there any place to get a drink around? You know what I mean? It's like I would have been that guy. Like,
oh, look, I have been the guy of like, what do you mean I can't drink this? What do you mean? You know, I bought a ticket.
Isn't it weird too? Whenever you go to a theme park or like a anything like that, like you go to like a mall or wherever, like you only drank like one orange juice or one coffee, and you went to the bathroom before you went, and you're walking around, and as soon as you get there, you got to take a piss, and it's like it always happens. Like at theme parks, amusement parks, anywhere I go, it's like I'm dehydrated and I still piss my breath. Why does that happen?
It's a savage thing that the gods put on us, man. We suffer both ways. We are dehydrated and overhydrated.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
Anyway, but let's say you don't like Disney for whatever reason, which, you have to like Disney. They own everything, including my soul, by the way. Disney Incorporated for Sheddick. You can join us for the Just Too Sweet show, right? Which, Eric, you're on the Just Too Sweet show. What do you guys do over there?
I am a co-host, actually, of the Just Too Sweet show, and we are a all things professional wrestling show. Tim is the host of it. I'm the co-host. We're tag team partners, BAM. And we go over new wrestling, classic wrestling, mostly class. We try to give you the news and like important happenings that are going on right now, which I'm going to be honest with you, I don't watch anything anymore. I'm more of like my era when I wrestled and all that stuff, like even a little bit after that. But yeah, we go over we talk about old pay-per-views. We talk about like news and stuff. So it's fun. We have a lot of fun with that. And that's Tim and I. That's the Just Too Sweet show. That's Tuesdays.
Excellent. And then let's say you don't like any of that. Let's say you like nothing except the sweet divinity of randomness. But you want something, a deep dive. You want something that goes, I don't know, from A to Z. Maybe you want something that covers everything from atmosphere to zeitgeist.
Wow.
Eric, where would one tune in for that?
What, Mr. Fischetic? How random that you ask that question, because I just happen to have the place that you can get all that. You can join Tim Ed McMahon Tabala and the number one late night internet talk show host of 2020 and 2021. The Johnny Carson of Pop Culture Pro, me, the A to Z program. Oh, come to you know what? If you're not watching the A to Z program, Jason will attest for it. He's been on this show, the madness of this show, and it's great. It's great. We go over everything. We talk about anything and everything. We go over news. We go over strange phenomena. We go over hillbilly music. We go over old commercials. We do it all. And we're a plethora. We are a conglomerate. We are a cluster of everything that is good in the world.
And I want to say, if anyone wants to go back and watch me on that show, I was on there last Friday.
It was
not the one that just
great
passed.
show.
The one before that, we did Aliens and Area 51. They let me come on and do 20 minutes as if I was Zoidberg from Futurama, and then I took my mask off and we just shot bullshit about aliens.
I sold it too.
Experience.
I was selling it the whole time he had it on there. I sold it the whole time. I was like, I even said to Tim, I was messing him. I go, I'm not going to let it go. I'm going to keep pretending he's in it until he takes that off. It was so good.
And I had it in my head that I was not taking it off until they revealed my identity. I literally would have went the entire show.
That was so good.
But yeah, so if you're interested, check that out. And yeah, that brings us to an end. Ginny, would you like to say the last word since Eric and I have been talking and plugging? So say goodnight to everyone.
Oh, all right. Well, good night, everyone. I am invincible.